Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Brought to you by Photography is an Art, Harvey Randman, master photographer, located at 1307 North San Fernando Boulevard, Burbank, California. Attorney Ron Irwin's book, Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart. Author Larry Buford's book, To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. State Farm agent Carla Green and veteran actor Rob Bronstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Roll it, Tony.
Okay, so I walk in with my ski mask and my shotgun, right? Everybody on the ground!
Where'd you get the shotgun?
Man, I don't know the internet. Shut up. Everyone to be cool. This is a robbery! Okay, can you hold that? Can you hold that, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Wow. My first guest today hails from San Jose, California, who began his career with his sketch comedy pitched and sold to their late night sketch show to a local TV channel. He immediately dropped out of college and threw himself into the experience. He's traveled around the world, and by 25, he had already worked with some of his comedy heroes, such as Kevin Pollak, Louis Black, Tracy Morgan, and Bobby Slayton. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome that marvelous comedian and actor, Eric Toms. Eric.
Hey Ron, how you doing, bud?
Thank you for being here today. We had our problems yesterday, but you're stuck in there, you hung in there, and we thank you very, very much.
We persevered, is what
we do persevere. Yes, we are a special breed of cat. We'd like to do that. What a way to get into this business. Remember the first time you got up on stage?
I do. I mean, if I'm going to go all the way back, the first audience I performed to was my mom and my dad and my co-stars with my sisters. And we would do the classic, like hang the sheet up in the doorway, and then would come out, and then there'd be sketches and singing. And I was more of a prop than an actual human being. So. But yeah, it was, the classic thing, like elementary school, all the way through high school, doing the plays and all of that good stuff. But really, it was in middle school. There's two good friends of mine who I've known literally since I was 5 years old. And it's the Ratliff brothers. And we, like many kids in the 90s, we were gifted the camcorders. And so we made every stupid little backyard film that you can think of. And we were big fans of movies, and stage plays were nice and they were fun. We did stuff on stage, but really our hearts belonged in television and film. But yeah, that's lasted me ever since, and like all the way through up like into college, and then dropping out of college and then starting a career in film and television.
I got to ask this question real early into the show because folks need to know this. These days, we need some damn good comedy these days. Would you agree? I mean, COVID-19, the economy, upcoming presidential election, blah, blah, blah. What's happening?
I always believe George Carlin had said once that comedians are the pressure release valve of society. It's important to have comedians be able to, in a very bite-sized, easy-to-swallow pill, go on stage, present people with the problems, not only dismantle them and be able to laugh at them, but also just bring awareness to them in maybe a way somebody hasn't thought of. If you go back to the 1960s, and you had incredible artists like Lenny Bruce, who were George Carlin even was starting off there as well, who were pointing at the establishment and saying, like, aren't they a bunch of idiots? But also, you need to rise up. You need to think. Which is exactly what I love so much about George Carlin's work as well. But yes, luckily we have a slew of incredible, I would say, auteurs and comedians. You've got Amy Schumer, you have Dave Chappelle, who's been around forever. You have Louis Black, you have, Jon Stewart, still there, bless his heart. I mean, Bill Maher. There's so many comedians who are working right now that are bringing awareness to what could possibly become atrocities in the U.S. and around the world, and also just consoling people during the lockdown. Like, no one can go outside. That's awful. The nice thing about comedians is they love to perform, and right now there is nothing but a slew of material that they have to throw at people. So I think they're both comforting folks, trying to keep their minds off of horrible things, this time informing them about what is going on and how they can make a change, which is, I think, what you really hope for as an artist.
By the way, folks, that opening that you saw when we opened the show was a 2014 hit by Ari. It was called Postgrad Gangsters, okay? Let's take a look at your career, sir. 2001, you got your first IMDb actor credit for a drama movie called Pins and Needles.
Mm-hmm. Pins and Needles was a very, very low budget film. It was based off of a Sidney Poitier film that a guy by the name of Mike Diamond was making. And it was a dramatic piece. And I was very nervous because I was already rooted in comedy at that point. I had a sketch comedy show. I was, starting to tool around with stand-up. That was very much my MO. But having said that, this was a very serious, dramatic piece. I was very nervous to do it. But luckily, one of the guys in my sketch group was doing it with me. He was also an actor. He was the lead actor in the film. And so that was how I got the job. I was very thankful for it, but it was terrifying to step that far out of my comfort zone.
Gotcha. Fast forward to 2003, and here's where you really got started. You had a TV series called Seriously Unusual Television Network, where you got producer and writer credits and 12 episodes.
Well, that was just what we had on there. That same fellow that I was talking about, his name is Devin Lee Grover, fantastic guy, really solid actor. We started off in a theater called Big Lil's Cabaret, and it was vaudeville and cabaret. And so we did sketches, and we did this very bawdy humor, and people were given baskets of popcorn. They were encouraged to throw popcorn at us on stage. There were sing-alongs. It was just this giant, very big atmosphere, and I was so at home at the whole thing. And this is in the Silicon Valley around 2000, and that's right around the time that the dot-com boom was happening. And so little theaters like the Cabaret of course, they were all going under. So the people who owned it at the time, they decided, let's do a show. We're going to do a kind of Saturday Night Live sort of structure. So we'll have stand-up comedians, we'll have a house band, we'll have guest bands, we'll have recorded pieces, we'll do everything that we want to do. And so I decided, great, I'm in. So I became a video producer, one of the head writers, a featured performer. And we did it at the Cabaret for about a year. And then we jumped to a local station called Cron 4, where we did 52 episodes. And then things went away for a little while, and we attempted to rebuild. And then we got, if people remember UPN, there was a UPN affiliate in San Francisco. And then that's where we did 12 episodes there. It was fantastic. I got to meet every comedian in the Bay Area. They were the sweetest people and got me started with stand-up, which was terrific because sketch comedy, plays, films, television are all nice, but you need to wait for 10 to 15 to 100 people to get their act together before you can make anything. Stand-up, I write a joke today, and then tonight I can go on stage and see if it works, which I love the immediacy of stand-up.
Okay. Then by 2007, you were smoking. You had learned a lot of writing and audiences, and you took to a short comedy film called The Life.
Mm-hmm. The Life was, and I'm very excited about this. The Life was, I had moved to Los Angeles and nothing was happening. I had moved to Los Angeles in 2005. I was really struggling to get into the stand-up circuit. It's very, very hard to get into the clubs. I was dying to try and get auditions. I was, stealing them from friends wherever I could. They would go to an audition and call them and tell me about it, and then I would just show up. And then the show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is one of the only times in my life where I've been ahead of the cool curve. It was before anybody heard of it. It was the summer replacement show that was on FX, and I loved it. And at the end of the show, the way Sunny got started was Rob McElhenney bought this camcorder, and he made a 5-minute short film. And then he went around with that 5-minute and he sold it. And so FX had this contest. Anyone who would submit their 5-minute short film, they would be considered for a pilot at FX. So I shot mine. It was called The Life. And the whole idea was that, me being a married guy, I was, 26 at the time when I made it. And then my friends who were my age or older, who were still single, we had the same problems, but we approached them very differently, being if you're in a relationship or if you're single. So I filmed this thing, sent it to the contest, did not win. And this will definitely age me. So I put it up on MySpace Comedy. And so continued working in the Bay Area. I continued working in Los Angeles. I was trying to find auditions. I got a job as a graphic designer for a breast implant advertisement site, like you do. And I was working one day and I got a phone call, and it was Fox, and they were looking for a host of a comedy clip show. And they asked me if I wanted to come in because they had seen this stupid little short that I put on MySpace Comedy. And I went in and auditioned for it and got it. And that was my first national TV show. So when I was 27 years old, started off with Fox Reality Channel and a show called Reality Binge. And it was funny because it reminded me so much of SUTN, Series of Unusual Television Network, because there was still no money. Even though we're at Fox, we're at this little tiny office, out in North Hollywood. And it's like, hey, do you have a scuba mask? Bring that tomorrow because we're going to do a sketch. And the show should have been half an hour. It was a full hour. And then we were supposed to do another hour for the web, which never ended up happening. But because of like this, the rush that we had to get this material out, everyone bonded. We had such a great time. It was so much like college, and it was just an absolute blast.
2010, I've just mentioned one of these shows that you did. Reality Binge. Remember that guy?
Reality Binge. That was it. That was the show for Fox. Yeah, it was great because it was literally just me in front of a green screen. So, I mean, like, it was my show. I was very, very proud of the fact that I was able to carry that show. Now, of course, I wasn't able to do it alone. We had terrific writers, Jen Valley, Chad Gervich, Scott Sonnenborn, Adam Malamut, and who are still all friends to this day. The supervising producer, guy named Peter Carlin, we had lunch in January. So just a great group of people, really, really hard workers too. I mean, they were there at 9 a.m. all the way till sometimes midnight. It was a ridiculous show. And I was very fortunate too. I not only got to be the host, but also got the chance to be one of the writers as well. It was very much, if people remember The Soup, like Talk Soup, it was just that guy in front of a green screen showing clips. And then we were able to make whatever sketches we could for these clips. It was terrific. We had a great, great time.
Okay. Okay.
So sorry, Ron. Give me just 1 sec.
All right. That's okay. It's a little warm today. Equipment all over the place is just falling out. That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Go. Let me
so yeah, it was a wonderful time. We had a great time. Hey, buddy. Yeah, we had a great time doing that show. It was a lot of fun.
Got you. Eric, I read one time that you said this, quote, "Not the guy we want, but rather the guy we could afford."
Yeah, that is.
Explain, please.
That is always me. It's in the years that I've been auditioning and things like that, it's usually there's the guy who's got slightly more credit. I'm like a solid 7 as far as looks and talent goes. Like, it's like, oh, he's not bad, but you know who we're gonna get, man. We want to get Zach Galifianakis. That's the fella. Zach's busy. Zach costs $2 million. Let's go ahead and grab Eric then. I think that's probably a good idea. But strangely, the thing that has helped me out the most in my career has just been energy. I am the guy who has more energy than anybody else, and I will be running circles at 9 a.m. just like I am at 1 o'clock in the morning. And the nice thing as well is I do a lot of warm-up for game shows, which is just energy all of the time. It's a lot of fun. It's extremely hard work, but luckily I have two small kids. It works well with my schedule. I get a good couple of bucks, and then it affords me to film my independent films and also comedy sketches that I do, that I put out, that are really my lifeblood. Like, that's the thing I love the most.
What do you do when you have a bad night on stage? What do you do?
I'm very fortunate now, because I have a much stronger sense of self, and I realize, one, I'm just better at comedy now than I was when I was starting out. I've been doing it for 20 years now. The nice thing is I have the tools at my disposal to read a crowd better, to just have more material, to be more comfortable in my own skin. So if things are going bad, I'm not sweating it. I'm not freaking out and looking for the exits. I'm just relaxed and I'm having a good time. If you're relaxed and having a good time, other people will have a good time.
Like you and I had talked about, I used to be a disc jockey years ago, and in the early part of the evening, I'd play the best music I had. People sit there and just look at me. Ooh. And then when that liquor started talking to them, yep, I could play dirt and they'd get them dance all night long.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, when you're a young comic starting out, and that's one of the reasons why most comedy clubs sell alcohol, is when the comic is doing poorly, you just then, jump into a bottle of Jack Daniels, and it feels so good to be in there. Let me tell you. And then you just replay the set over and over and over in your head. And then, but the thing that is kind of, I'm not going to say great, be good about doing poorly in comedy is, there is a saying in stand-up, you learn more when you bomb than when you do well. And so when you bomb someplace, you go over, it's just like, here's where I lost my cool, here's where I made the joke I shouldn't have, here's where I went after the audience, these are the mistakes that I've made. So then the next time when you get on stage, you realize, this is what I have to do differently. All of a sudden, it's, you're on steroids because you've taken your lumps.
Got you. But let's go back to May 2017. You and another gentleman co-founded and produced a show that will go down in history as an award winner. You called it the Night of Shorts Night.
Mm-hmm. After I did Reality Binge, that was in 2008. Night of Shorts Night, there it is. I kept getting offered host jobs. So I was offered to be a game show host, to be a talk show host. And I really had to have this kind of come to Jesus moment with myself and say, why did I move to Los Angeles? Why did I uproot my family and come here? And the reason is because I wanted to be an actor on television and films. And I realized that no one was going to let me do that just on my own steam. I had to do it myself. So I started filming my own shorts, and I got very lucky. There's a couple of fellas that I had met along my way down here, two really talented guys named James and Dave Cadelia. Dave is a director, James is a DP, and we had each finished a short film around the same time.
Gotcha.
And Dave had just kind of jokingly said, hey, why don't we show this someplace, like at a bar or something like that? And I said, cool, I'll put about 30% energy into that. So I went on Facebook and said, hey, does anybody know a bar where you can show short films? And somebody wrote back and said, yeah, there's this great place. You can show them there. So I called up, made all the appropriate appointments. I mentioned, it was like, yeah, I got a couple of friends. We're going to show our short films. It's on a Monday, so there's normally a time when a bar or restaurant is dead. So they were happy to do it. So I make this flyer, invite a bunch of friends, get all the shorts together, get a babysitter. The wife and I go down to this place, and the lights are off, and the doors are locked, and no one's answering the phone. And I am freaking out. And so slowly my friends are arriving. I don't know what to do. And my wife, being the very intelligent, level-headed woman she is, she said, why don't we try and find another place? And honestly, I was kind of a jerk about it. I said, yeah, you go find another bar where we can go ahead and bring in a bunch of people and then show short films. Fine. 2 minutes later, Ron, 2 minutes later, I get a text from my wife, and she says, yeah, I found a place down the street. And so we went there. The owner was delighted because all of a sudden 20 people are coming in on a Monday, and we start showing our shorts. And about halfway through, the owner pulled me aside and said, hey, if you ever want to do this again, give me a holler. And I thought, okay. So I sat down with James. We talked about it. And I said, would you want to do this regularly? And he agreed. So every month for the next 3 years, we showed short films in Los Angeles, and it's completely free for filmmakers to show their work. It's completely free for audience members to come and watch. We do a giveaway, we do drink specials. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and that is the year that will devour us all. So in February, we couldn't do the show because of coronavirus. So we decided to pivot. We wanted to keep the show going. We wanted there to be creativity amongst this community of people that we had built. And so we decided, okay, we'll do the Night of Shorts night, short reading night. And so that is where filmmakers can come together, and we host a Zoom, and same thing. We still do giveaways. We still have a great fun night, but now we read short films that will one day grow up to be full feature films. And I'm very excited because one of the first ones that we did, which was, I believe, the first Tuesday in March, there is a guy by the name of Sam Lucas, and he had an idea for a script, and he read it at our show. He has since, during quarantine, shot it and is finishing edited, and it is now out in the world. I'm super proud of the guy. It's amazing. It's going out to film festivals this year. He did a great job with it. I was so happy that he could at least test out the material on our show. And so actually our show is tonight. If anybody is interested in checking it out, we will hopefully have a link somewhere that the people can look at. If not, you can go find me at Tom's Funny on any of the social media platforms, and I will have a Zoom link there for you. It's 4 short films that are read aloud by our cast of actors. We do the giveaway. It's a lot of fun. And what's more is, I think, to a certain degree, creative people don't know how to not be creative. They are always working on something. So even in this time when we're all locked inside our houses and a lot of people suffering from anxiety and depression, people are still writing things. And I think this is a great reminder that, look, things are tough right now. This isn't going to be forever. Keep working, keep making things. You're doing a good job. So anyway, that is the Night of Shorts night, and I'm very proud. We've been going now 3.5 years, and we're very excited to go back live again. We're working on the logistics for doing a live show, which would include projector, social distancing, masks. We want to be safe. I mean, is seeing me perform reason enough to get COVID? Yes, but people probably shouldn't. We want them to be safe and still be able to show their work with other members of their community.
I know, would you run that invitation that he uses, the shows that Eric uses?
I'm sorry, that who you?
Hey guys, Eric Thompson, the Night of Shorts night. The cake's been ordered, the suit's been dry cleaned, and the shorts are ready to go tonight. Night Bar, downtown Los Angeles. Come check out some of LA's greatest short filmmakers screening their shorts for free. That's right, costs you nothing to come in. And we're giving away free cake. Come on, what else do you want? Night of Shorts night, tonight, 8 to 10.
All right. Excellent.
Well, it's funny. I would film one every month for a new show, and I was very excited because there was one night I cleaned through my garage, and I'm a weird guy, and somebody had helped me move one time, and I'd helped them move one time, and they gave me a ninja sword, and we gave away a ninja sword at a show, which seems like a great idea when you're at home, and then you get to a bar with a deadly weapon, and suddenly the bouncers get really nervous. But luckily, everyone was very cool, and they allowed us to give it to some random guy who then was walking the streets of Los Angeles.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Listen, before we get you out of here, good friend of yours, actress Eva Marie Fredericks, sends her best.
Eva Marie, she's also shown at Night of Shorts night. There she is. She's got an incredible knack she's beautiful and talented, but also is not scared to get weird, which I absolutely love. Her short film featured a couple grifting an Al-Anon meeting for people who were addicted to using puppets. If that's not a terrific show, I don't know what is.
Eric, I hate to do this to you, but we ran out of time, my friend. We got to get you back here again.
I would love to come back. Yeah, absolutely. And please check me out at Tom's Funny for the Night of Shorts night. It's on tonight, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It'll be a blast, I guarantee you.
Is there a website?
Yeah, you can go ahead and check us out on all of the social medias. Go ahead, Instagram / Night of Shorts night, Twitter, Facebook, all of that good stuff. And then you can also check out my website, which is just erictoms.com.
Eric, thank you so much. Glad to have you. You make a good comedian. Doggone.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You make a good interviewer.
This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. The studio of Harvey Brandman Photography is an artist proud to offer you a $100 discount off any photo package valued at $300 or more. Now, Harvey's been in the business for nearly a quarter of a century, and he certainly knows how to take care of his customers. So please give him a call today at 818-954-9294. That's 818-954-9294. You'll be glad you did. And by the way, please tell Harvey that you heard about his offer right here on the Actor's Choice. Haiku, style, passion, heart. It's the latest release from author and attorney Ron Irwin. The book was inspired by the author's first exposure to haiku well over a half-century ago. This experience produced within him a deep passion to experience Asia, which he later did as a U.S. Marine. The book is available in paperback at lulu.com. Irwin says he'll give 20% of net book sales split evenly between the veterans of foreign wars and Vietnam veterans of America. Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. It's a new book by author Larry Buford. It's a historical and faith-based account of how what we do and follow today will affect us tomorrow. The author also calls it an adventure for those who want to travel back through time. The book is now available in paperback for only $17.95. So please get your copy today. And now, a word from State Farm agent Conley Green. Roll it.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because the State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just four walls and four wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Let me help you with that. Give me a call. State Farm agent Carla Green, 213-239-9675. I look forward to speaking with you.
Okay, Ron.
Thank you, Carla. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. For more information, call 213-239-9675. That's 213-239-9675. Attention all actors. An Actor's Space provides classes and private coaching by veteran actor Rob Brownstein. Actor's Space is Thursday night classes for working actors and Tuesday night foundation and technique classes for the early career actor. The idea here is to build on each actor's strengths and who you are to help refine and reimagine your actor and your career. For more information, contact class at robbrownstein.com or call 323-646-1268. That's 323-646-1268. We thank you. And finally, if you have a product or service or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
Rakim came in and brought this very sophisticated style that was influenced by his religious tradition as well as his style and the style of the energy of the people. And so raps will start to speed up and they would sound like this, and I'm flowing and you're knowing where I'm coming from. The juice on my mind representing the time. I got a lyrical presentation to take you to an elevation. Representing hip hop and R&B. I am the one, the truest, the realest, the real OG. Original God is my thinking. That's what I'm coming to say in this day and every day. That's how I'm claiming it to be, baby. You understand?
Ladies and gentlemen, just saw my next guest today doing what he loves to do, and that's teaching. This time, he's down there, what you just saw, man. He was teaching hip-hop history, Music 320 at USC. Now, the gentleman is a former pro football player and now produces acts as well, etc., etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Timothy Lee Conley. Hello there, young man. Timothy, good to see you, brother. And thank you yesterday for what happened yesterday. Appreciate your patience here today. And welcome to the Actor's Choice. Now, for the next 24 minutes, we're going to tell a lot about you. The year was 2010. Let's start there. And you got your first IMDb actor credit in the role of an Agent Peterson, I believe it was, in the series Cult. Can you tell us about that role, please, sir?
Yeah, it was Cult 11. It was sort of at this time where everyone's trying to figure out
what was happening in this new media space, right? This online space where television is emerging. So
Yes.
it's a mini series that was loosely based off of the Twilight Zone. And so at 11:11, all of these interesting things would happen when it's reached 11:11 on the clock. And so I was playing a Secret Service agent in this alternate reality where the president was actually white, but he was pretending to be black. So there's this twist story that probably today would catch a lot of heat with all of the sort of tension around blackface, right? But at the time we weren't having those conversations, and it was sort of a science fiction, alternate reality, horror type story. And my job was to make sure his true identity wasn't revealed.
Okay. 2020 was a good year for you. You also got your first IMDb executive producer credit for producing a short film called Religion on Campus, USC Office of Religious Life.
Yeah, so I went to USC for grad school. I also worked there for about 12 years, and I produced a few pieces for them, sort of informational pieces about the different important sort of campus engagement happening at USC, extracurricular campus engagement. So the Religious Center is one such piece that I did. I also did one, for example, for the office known as La Casa, now at the time El Centro Chicano, and also for the Center for, make sure I get this title right, Black Cultural Student Engagement. I'm probably getting that wrong, but working with them on different projects, sort of looking at sort of ways that students are engaging, whether it be religion or it be with sort of the cultural offices, et cetera, and also working with the president's office as well in Provost.
Sounded like a promising work, You ran into a gentleman by the name of Murray. What's his name? Reverend Murray?
Oh, so Pastor Murray,
Oh, yeah.
Pastor Murray, Reverend Murray. He was working on a board that I was on there, which was a bunch of religious directors, and he was sort of the senior pastor in residence on this board, and provided a lot of wisdom and guidance to us, especially a younger guy like myself. And he was just a sweet man, and reminded me of Dr. King. And he's one of the, gosh, there's not so many, and I wish there was more of these civil rights type ministers today, right? That were really engaged in that work. And so he kind of has the same cadence as Dr. King.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's a really sweet man. Said something funny to me one day. He said, he was being sincere, but it was funny how he says, and I'm probably butchering this, Tim, tell your mother to have 10 more sons just like you. Yes, sir. It's good. So.
Sure, I missed him over the first day. Missed him a lot. Somewhere in there, you got involved with an organization called 67 Entertainment. There's your logo right there.
Yeah, so 67 Entertainment is my football number was one of my main football numbers I wore a lot of time as a student athlete, and as a professional athlete was the number 67. So meeting with my small team, we decided to transition the previous company name to 67 Entertainment. And so 67 Entertainment has been the name of the company since 2014. So.
Gotcha. Bubba, what football team did you play for?
Seattle Seahawks.
I'm sorry?
Seattle Seahawks.
Did you say Dallas? I say it because my daughter lives in Dallas, and boy, she loved the Cowboys. She said yes.
No, I worked out for the Dallas Cowboys, but they didn't bring me in. I went up to the Pacific Northwest to Seattle. They seem to have more interest in me than the Cowboys, but Cowboys are definitely a great franchise over the years. So.
Yes, indeed. To me, the next year you did another short film, Waiting on Sasquatch. This time you were the voice, along with being both the executive producer and the co-producer. Tony, roll it, sir.
So, did you think about it?
No, I didn't have to. I don't ever want to go Sasquatch hunting.
Not hunting. We're not there to capture them. We're just there to learn from them.
You should listen.
Wow, good stuff. This is just a lot of, you put together a lot of projects. Where do you get your ideas for these projects?
Well, when I was in grad school at USC, I met a gentleman named Josh Davlin who wrote a film that Jim Carrey starred in called The Mask. And I interviewed him for a paper that I was writing in grad school. And I asked him for some advice as I was really thinking about going into producing content. And he said, surround yourself with good people. And so I've tried to do that. So one of the folks that you just saw in that scene there, his name is, he goes by his talent name, Curious Judas, but his name is George Preciado. And George has done a lot of cinematography work for me, and he wrote this piece. And so I like what he wrote, and I said, well, let's make it. Let's get the money together, and let's make this happen. And so it's a lot easier to finance a short film than a full-length feature. It doesn't cost as much. We made the project, and the great thing now is technology is so more readily available that it makes it more affordable to shoot stuff. And so that's what I've been building a network with people, and we've been shooting content, even considering shooting during COVID right now.
This is a new generation. I don't have to tell you that, sir. We're seeing more and more persons, especially minorities, getting into business. All they need is a little direction and people like yourself, Timothy, who are willing to give them that direction. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know your mother is very proud of you. And please give my best to your mother.
You're saying that. I think so.
No, but we all three work in the same college. I ain't gonna mention the name, but we all work the same college.
Yeah, we'll do.
Timothy, you're very certainly enjoying what you do, and when you don't have no grass under your feet, that's doggone sure. Okay, back to the business. Again, the year 2011. And you co-executive produced and co-produced your third project that third year. This one was called a short video called The Last Bowl. Please tell us about this one.
So for many years, just to make extra cash, as LA is not the cheapest city to live in, I worked in restaurant and nightlife industry. And I got to work and meet and engage with a lot of actors and directors and producers who were trying to sort of make their way. And so the gentleman you see there in the still there from the poster is his name is Jack Kennedy. And Jack he's a working actor. And we also have Robert Mukes, who's probably known from doing a lot of television work. And he also was in a film called House of a Thousand Corpses, which is like this huge hit in the horror community. So he travels around signing autographs in these horror conventions and other type conventions such as Comic-Con all the time. So we're all friends, and we got together and decided to produce this piece. And them being talent, they were able to act in it. And I also gave George Preciado a chance to direct. That was his first time directing a piece. And so that came together. And I produced it and did some writing on it as well. So that was an exciting project to work on. And the right timing is it was this emergence of projects coming out about the zombie stories. And so it's this alternate than sort of the everyday zombie stories that we keep seeing, where there's these walkers, where these folks are in the midst of, they take the serum so they don't transition completely into zombie, and they're out of the serum. So the whole thing is about how they're going to get more serum so that they can hold on to any semblance of being human in any capacity. So it was just a fun project we worked on.
Got you. Speaking of which, we just happen to have a small clip. Tony, run it, please.
Today on the White House lawn, President Johnson presided over the ceremonial execution of the last remaining zombie. The infected was Colonel Kenneth Waterman, famously known as Ground Zero for the virus. 5 years ago today, he became infected with the virus while working as a researcher at the United States Army Research Institute of Infectious Diseases.
Wow. That's an action film. Late nighttime shooting, just great work, great work. And then there came a new year. And I like the title.
I just want to tell you that the female lead in there, Lane Kashian, you may I may be able to connect you with her. She was one of the original members of the Cats ensemble that was on Broadway when the show first came out in the late 80s. I just wanted to tell you.
You know a lot of people, my friend. You know a lot of people. And for the new year, I like that title. You gave us another play. I like that title. Another movie. It was called Always Have a Plan B. I always tell people, you know, when things get hard, okay, plan A didn't work out, get your plan B. If that don't work, go to C, D, and E, you know. And you produced 6 episodes of this TV series, and I understand you were the editor for 1 episode, plus you were the voice. You got a good voice, Timothy. I call it a gift from God. Go ahead, brother, with your bad self. You're doing it. You're doing it. In your career, you've worked with some doggone good people. One of these, I just talked about earlier, was Cecil Murray, but there was some other, name a few of the other good people that you've worked with in your career.
Yeah, I've worked with so many folks, you know, whether it's interesting, I've worked with so many people, but most of them have not been on camera. Most of them have been behind the scenes. I spent a lot of time as a bodyguard and an assistant working with some of Hollywood's top talent. I've been blessed to work with folks and do work with them, such as Louis Gossett Jr., for example, Academy Award winner. I got to do some security for him at his residence and when he was out on the town. And my company worked with him a few times. I've done projects with Britney Spears. I've worked with her. I've worked with, we did some things for Tom Cruise and others. But in terms of some of the talent that I work with on camera, one person I've worked with who's helped me out quite a bit is Martin Lawrence's right-hand man, who's a longtime working actor, Billy Sly Williams. And Billy Sly Williams is one of those folks that we call in Black Hollywood that knows everybody. And he has been great, and especially with connecting me with other individuals. One of his best friends, I think his best friend is Michael Jai White, who folks may know as a black martial artist, but has done a lot of film and television work as well. So I've been pretty blessed and fortunate to meet some folks who are, whether they're as well prominently known as everyone else or they're behind the scenes and has the connections to all the folks. I have been fortunate in that way.
Got you. Let's jump to 2020. You did a film as an actor and playing the role of Detective Mitchell. And you also co-produced it. It was called American Whisper. Roll it, Tony.
That was the last time you saw your entire family before tonight?
Janine. Hey, baby girl.
Hi, Doc.
Any domestic problems, Josiah?
Wow, I see signature all over that. I see Timothy Lee Conley's signature all over that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, great project. We were fortunate to have, I was a co-producer on that one.
Yes.
Howard Nash, he's our producer and our director, Russ Emanuel. Good, long time. Speak of connections, Russ and I have been working on several different things together over the years, including he was the director of that Cult 11 that you mentioned earlier. He directed my piece to the series. And Christian Barber he's a working actor, probably most known for his work on the show Empire, a Fox television show. So that was a great project based on a true story of an African-American business owner whose family was living sort of in New Jersey. He was in Harlem, and they were murdered one day, and the case was never resolved. It's based on a true story from the mid-'70s. We sort of updated the timeline in 2016, but we've got a little buzz that the case may actually be reopened, and now we have the technology that this case may be solved at this point with the technology of today.
Got you. I see you also have another film right now in pre-production. You call it Blaze and Amuse the Movie. You're the co-producer.
Yeah, Blaze and Amuse is a piece that I'm working on with Mark Hawkins, also known as DJ Clientele from the World Class Wrecking Crew. He's the director of the piece. And it's a film sort of telling some interesting stories as we're now in this legal safe world of cannabis. So let me put that out there. It is legally safe to tell stories about cannabis now and not have any tension or heat, hopefully. So.
Timothy, I got some pictures. I want to show you some of them. If you tell us about the audience, who they are. Give us that first one, Tony.
This is from a piece, Laiba, that I actually, we shot it. It's been edited, but it's been sitting on the shelf because I ran into a little issue with the director. And so when I ran into that issue with the director, I'll just say that I can't say too much about it, but it's been sitting on the shelf. And so I don't know if the actress wants me to say too much. I'm going to leave that one. Right?
Okay. Let's move to the next one.
Grandmaster Lonzo Williams is considered the godfather of West Coast hip hop. That's from his book. I'm in post-production right now on the documentary based on that book about some interesting stories from early West Coast hip hop, sort of Straight Outta Compton, pre-gangster rap. What was this scene like with these youngsters partying from about 75 up to 1987?
Okay, next one, please.
Yes, I mentioned that's a younger version of Grandmaster Lonzo. He's in the all black jacket there, and then in the middle is DJ Clientele, who I mentioned is the director of the other piece that you shown of mine earlier. And those are all Dr. Dre and DJ Yella, who are at NWA. Most folks know, a world-class wrecking crew. So my film, the documentary Not Without Alonzo, will sort of showcase their stories.
The next picture, please.
Oh, wow. This is, well, you know who one of those folks is, our president of Santa Monica College.
Yes. Yes.
That's from the Human Relations Council that I serve on in the Santa Monica Bay Area. So we're doing great work. Different folks working on things, including police reform, one of the hot button topics right now as we speak.
One more, please.
This is at one of the speaking engagements. I do different speaking engagements in the sort of religious communities and also talking about the work I do in terms of wanting to shift the digital divide and digital literacy.
Yes, get out there, do your own PR, let people know you. We tell folks to do that all the time. They don't get it. They don't get it. Okay, here's one more to go. Last one.
Oh, this was a silly video I put up during coronavirus of me lifting a 5-gallon water bottle.
Got the water bottle. You also worked at the Annenberg School doing a business of entertainment. Can you tell us about that, sir?
Yeah, so I graduated from the Annenberg School, and they had a business, sort of a business entertainment track that I was on that engaged television and film and other forms of communication. And while doing that, I also went to the cinema school and went through their specific program called exactly titled the Business of Entertainment. So Annenberg was the communications management degree with the sort of business entertainment track. And so I combined those two in this sort of world I'm working in now.
Okay. Got time for one more question. Future projects that you can talk about.
Yeah, so I have a podcast show that we're hoping to launch in the next couple of months. It's called The Politics of Hip Hop Culture. And we're going to be talking about an array of topics around education centered around hip hop and hip hop education, which has been sort of misled by the music business at times, where people think that hip hop only good for it when its foundation, which is bringing the community together around that knowledge, around the elements of hip hop, and bringing folks in to provide such educational interviews.
Timothy Lee, we thank you very, very much for coming in today. Got to have you back again to hear more and more about your completed projects and some of the things that you're doing these days. We thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Haiku, Style, Passion, Art, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, and Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. And much, much thanks to our guest today, comedian, actor, producer Eric Toms, and producer, actor Timothy Lee Conley. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. We say be well, and we'll see you next time.